the official app of the NBA.
Kyrie Irving's 16-point third quarter in Game 3, helping to set the stage for a tight finish. He had 38 points total, with the Cavs falling short of a win. Our Kristen Ledlow, more from the Cleveland team, fighting for pride right now and survival.
There was no practice, no shoot-around for the Cavaliers on Thursday. They showed up solely to address the media. And after saying that the Warriors had probably the most firepower he'd ever played against, LeBron James went on to address the concept of a super team, saying, why not? If I become an owner, I'm going to try to sign everybody. He also detailed the differences between this Warriors team and his Miami Heat, but his focus was primarily on Game 4, saying it's part of his calling to go up against the great teams.
And more on that in a moment. LeBron will never admit to fatigue, but Golden State has really pushed him, and the numbers say that productivity wanes as the game rolls on, averaging a triple-double, though, in the finals. Still hasn't been enough. He is caught in a moment in time against a team for the ages. Kristen mentioned that LeBron said it's his destiny to play against great teams, and here is more from LeBron on that very subject.
Well, I mean, I think it's just part of my calling to just go against teams that's in the midst of a dynasty. And, this has been the best team in our league the last 3 years. They won a championship. And last year it was the greatest regular season team we had played. It was probably one of the best postseason teams that everybody has ever seen as well. We was just able to overcome that. And they're playing like one of the best teams once again. So, like I said, there's been times throughout my career where I've just played teams that was just in the midst of something that can last for a long time.
As well as you're playing and as good as you're feeling, have you kind of recalibrated how long you want to stay around?
I don't know. I mean, I feel good. I actually feel better. I don't feel good right now, but I feel pretty good where my game is right now. But I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, how long I want to stay around. I definitely want to compete. I want to compete for championships every year, and, so we'll see what happens.
I just want to pick up on something here that the NBA has always been about team building, and now the Warriors are an extension perhaps of what the Heat were when LeBron James joined them. But you take exception to that. You say it's different.
I do, because what LeBron James did is totally different what the Warriors have built. 6 other franchises messed up on Steph Curry. Draymond Green was a second-round pick. A lot of people didn't know who Klay Thompson was going into the draft. So that's why you give the Warriors a lot of credit for going out there and finding the right people and finding the right personalities. Now Kevin Durant becomes a free agent. They take him to the Hamptons. They sell the Warriors. They sell the culture. They sell the Bay Area.
Boom, boom, boom.
They did it the right way. So how are you saying they built a super team? They did it through the draft and free agency. That's how you build a good team.
Yeah, a little bit interesting that LeBron saying, his plight is always going up against the dynasties when he went to Miami and chose to put that one together and come back here. And then fascinating questions about how long is LeBron going to stay around? Didn't he just have his greatest regular season statistically that we've seen, and then he's averaging a triple-double as a 32-year-old in the finals for the 7th straight time? Now, LeBron's going to be around for quite some time, and LeBron's going to continue to dominate, but the Warriors are forcing not only Cleveland to consider what the next step may be for them, if in fact this series does close out in Game 4, Vince, or potentially in Game 5, but what the rest of the league is going to do with what they're up against and how Golden State represents a new era and really a new pillar built there out on the West Coast.
No question, they've tilted how we see basketball and the league, and LeBron James, again, the lightning rod here because he could be facing a 5th NBA Finals loss. But overall from the Cavs now, what their mission is on Friday night is to stop the Warriors from once again making that visiting locker room smell like champagne, spraying it all over. So here's their perspective into going into Game 4.
We're not going to give in. We're going to keep competing, and we had a chance, to win last night. And if we come up with the fight and intensity that we played with last game, by cleaning up a few mistakes, then we have a chance to win on Friday. So, by any means, are we giving in? So, we're going to be ready to play on Friday.
My mindset is to try to get every game, and tomorrow is another important opportunity for us and for myself, obviously, to continue the series. It's been a long season, and you hate for it to end this way. I mentally and physically got to prepare myself for that.
Physical standpoint, you just try to do everything possible to recover, but from a mental standpoint, there is no other option other than to prepare for Game 4 as best you can. I mean, that's it. This is as much as it was for all the games. This is as do or die as possible as I've ever faced in my career. So, we understand what's at stake, a whole entire season, and there's really no other decision other than to leave it all out there.
If you go back to before Game 3, Kyrie Irving was saying that they needed everyone and everything in that game. And I think, Bones, that is the approach that the Cavs want to take. They do want to get everybody involved. But as the game goes on, it tends to sort of devolve into the isolation with the two great players to some extent.
Yeah, and I think you start to get a little bit desperate down the stretch. They had that 6-point lead under 3 minutes to go. They had several possessions down the stretch, which we showed you that they came up empty-handed. And you think about the game, 12 of 41 on uncontested field goals in a game, a night where they just did not shoot the ball well. I think they relied too much, 3D in my opinion, on the three-point shot. The Golden State Warriors had set the record the game before, attempting 43 field goals, and Cleveland comes back and shoots 44 on their own, and then that maybe wasn't the recipe for them. But uncontested shots, the energy level not there. We talked a lot about just the energy in the building, people being very nervous about what they were about to witness with Golden State coming in. This next game, it might be kitchen sink time. There may be some guys where Ty Lue pulls them off the bench, some other energy guys that maybe get some minutes to see if they can find a little something and throw Golden State off kilter.
Yeah, I look for Shumpert and maybe Dante Jones, Derek Williams. You got to Brent's point, you got to throw the kitchen sink. Think about it for a second. As they're trying to figure out how do I get a good shot, you see all these threes being missed right now, but it's that first quarter. When you talk about pace and tempo, the Cavs hadn't won a first quarter yet. They have not won a first quarter yet.
39 at back at home.
Right, yeah. You're at home, you're getting up 39 points, so you have to throw the kitchen sink. You have to throw everything in there, but more importantly, can you make enough shots to hold the Golden State Warriors off? Because they're not panicking early in the ball game. They stick with their ball game.
I know you looked up and down this box score, but if you look at Game 3, only one guy as a reserve had a basket.
And that was crazy when Brent and I were talking after the game. You mean you only get 3 made buckets off your bench, and they got 10 made buckets or 8 made buckets off their bench?
By one guy.
Kyle
Korver.
And then your starter, Kevin Love, goes 1 of 9, where the first 2 games he has shot the ball particularly well, where Kyrie was struggling a little bit. So you need your superstars to set the table, like we always say. That's their role. Now, when other guys come off the bench, they have to finish their role as well.
The Warriors need just about that much of an opening, and they're going to take advantage, and they did. Much more coming from Cleveland on the Game Time edition from the finals, including another floor demonstration. Dennis and Bones on a Warrior team good as gold in transition.
When we get back, we're going to talk about how the Cleveland Cavaliers, maybe offensively, 3D, have painted themselves into a literal corner.
And now they have to figure out how do they get their way out of that corner.
Davis on top of center. Look out below. What can he do?
Cavs 6-point underdogs tonight in Game 4. LeBron has not been this big of a home underdog in 11 years. Our NBA insider, Brian Windhorst, joins us now. That's a long time, Brian. You made note.
That was a good stat.
Yeah, you made note of LeBron's news conference yesterday. He was both thoughtful, he was expansive, maybe even a bit reflective in his responses. What's the attitude of LeBron and his team going into tonight?
I think they're at peace, David. They were very relaxed in shoot-around today. They know what they're facing. They know what they're up against. Obviously, they're going to compete as hard as they can. But LeBron knows where he is in this situation. He expressed that yesterday. To me, that was almost like an exit press conference.
Interesting. Listen, everything we've seen so far, it doesn't seem like the Cavs have any answers. We've heard parallels being drawn between Durant going to the Warriors, LeBron going to Miami back in the day. What did he have to say about super teams, LeBron?
Yeah, he made it clear that he loves super teams. He became a fan of the Dallas Cowboys when they got Deion Sanders in the 90s. He became a fan of the Yankees when they had Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez and Mariano Rivera and Tino Martinez and all those guys. He was cool with Durant going to the Warriors. He just wanted to point out one quick thing. When he went to Miami, it was to build something. When Durant went to Golden State, it was something was already built. Other than that, I think he accepts the challenge that is in front of him.
All right, there you go. Brian Woodhorse telling us the Cavs are at peace no matter what happens tonight in Game 4, trying to avoid the sweep on their home floor. Cavs just the third defending champion in NBA history to trail 3-0 in an NBA Finals. If they can't extend the series tonight, they'll join the 1983 and 1989 Lakers as the only defending champs to be swept in the Finals the following year. LeBron and Richard Jefferson would also become the 5th and 6th players to be swept in multiple Finals. SportsCenter on the road in Cleveland, and Jay Harris is